Hi, I'm Sean Whitwer. I'm a special education math teacher at Franklin High School and a proud graduate of the Kamehameha Schools. I'm working with a student of mine and Representative Ono to create scholarship opportunities for special education students at UH and our community colleges. In this video, I want to share with you why I worked to create HB 1291, what it is, and what you can do if you'd like to support HB 1291. Our voices matter, and if we work together, we can do something very special and amazing. First of all, I'd like to share with you why I worked to create HB 1291. If you look at the Special Education Task Force summative report, you'll notice that students with disabilities show large gaps compared to non-disabled peers in achievement. Not only do special education students have greater chronic absenteeism in school, but it affects their on-time graduation rates and their college-going rates. The on-time graduation rates for students with disabilities is only 59%, much lower than the on-time graduation rates of their non-disabled peers. The college-going rate for special education students are 31%, as opposed to 57% for students without disabilities, according to the 2016-2017 school year data. So why did I work to create HB 1291? The first reason is to close the achievement gap for students that I care about tremendously and who I've given my life to serve at Franklin High School. Second, I believe it's the right thing to do. It's time for positive changes for special education students, and this is an idea whose time has come. The third reason is that up to 40% of students who qualify for special education are Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander. My high school principal at Kamehameha, Dr. Michael Chun, always encouraged me to serve my community with dignity and pride, and this is one way that I can serve my community. So next, I want to show you what is HB 1291. If you go to the Hawaii State Legislature website and you type in HB 1291 bill status, measure status, and you hit go, it'll bring up the current information for HB 1291, and the description in its short form can be read here, but you can also go ahead and click on the PDF to get a closer look at what HB 1291 is. So let's take a look at what are the provisions of HB 1291. So the first part relates to the UH scholarships that are available. And so on page 2, there are scholarships for UH for those that are valedictorians of their class and students that have a cumulative GPA of 4.0. Now, this is very difficult for students with learning disabilities, and so there needs to be a fair and equitable opportunity for students in special education to have access to these scholarship opportunities. And so we're taking a look at adding in this section, subsection D, that students with a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or above and who've been in special education for 2 or more years will have access to scholarships as well, to UH. On page 3, it documents the current laws as it relates to the Hawaii Community College Promise Program, and what we're asking for is additions on page 4 for opportunities for students in special education that have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or above to be able to access these scholarship funds, and that we're also asking that 10% of the available funds to be dedicated to students in special education. And if there are no students available who fulfill these requirements, that the monies will go back to the general fund. Now, let's take a look at what you can do if you'd like to support HB 1291. So the first thing you can do is go ahead and create an account with the Hawaii State Legislature by clicking on register. I've already done that already, so I'm just going to go ahead and sign in. The next thing that you can do is, once again, search for Bill HB 1291. Once again, I do appreciate Representative Ono who introduced this bill, and so whenever you search bills, the first name of the legislator who introduces a particular bill will be listed first here. And I also appreciate all the representatives that have already signed on to support this bill. So today is February 8th, and they gave notice today that this bill will be available for public hearing on February 11th, which is Thursday, and we want to submit testimony 24 hours prior to our hearing. And so what we want to do is again, we want to try to submit our testimony as soon as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and click on submit testimony. So take the time to go ahead and read through all of this information, and there are rules that apply to the Senate and the House. So I'm going to go ahead and enter bill or measure, again HB 1291, and I'm going to click continue. And I'm providing testimony again to HB 1291 relating to scholarships. That is my name, and I support HB 1291, and I'm submitting testimony as an individual citizen. And how will you be testifying? I would like to be able to remotely via Zoom during the hearing and submitting written testimony. So I'm going to go ahead and change that option. And I am going to go ahead and submit my testimony. Now, as you go ahead and you submit your testimony, one of the things that I recommend is that you try to keep your testimony to about 45 seconds, no more than 1 minute. They do give you up to 2 minutes, but I recommend that you do your testimony within about 45 seconds to 1 minute. And I recommend considering it in 3 parts. Just in part 1, just introduce yourself, and in the second part, what is the problem, and then in the third part, what do you see as a solution? Why is this measure important, and why is this information that you're submitting testimony on behalf of necessary? Last of all, I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And that's all there is to it. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you'll join me in supporting HB 1291 as we look to create scholarship opportunities for special education students at UH and our community colleges. Aloha.